Good morning. How about that? A little start me up to start out the day. All right. We had quite the last 3 days, and the range we opened up the range quite a bit finally because when we look at this from a far away here, just looking at the market profile, this was kind of really tough because the market lost its momentum, lost its volume near the top, and we're just right real close to trading to all-time highs. Couldn't hold on, and of course we started this break. This was Friday. We opened up, got out of the sideways overlap. Right. Let me just do this just for now. So once we got below this balanced area, price overlap, we couldn't really move the puck up higher here. Then the market started to peel away, and of course, once we had a little momentum from this high, let me get the right drawing tools here, right? This started the break on Monday. We opened up pretty much right below this price overlap, and then took once we took out this low, that was it. We started to catch a nice break, and that gave us a PAV sell on the dailies here, right? So that was right here. Once we did that, we broke below there. We started this down move, and here we are. And actually, that was Friday, and then we've got Monday, yesterday, continuation. Now, we're not out of the woods. The market can actually continue to break, but for the time being, we had 4 down days. We could get back up to test the previous US session highs from yesterday, or I should say the overnight highs, but at the same time, I mean the US session highs from yesterday. At the same time, a pop up to 22 up in that area. That would be, right here, the bottom of this day that we peeled it away on Friday, would be a big push if we got up there, and a nice little rally to possibly sell. We'll see. If they get up there, they hesitate and respect it. This could just be just that little bit of a bounce that we need and possibly do this again. Now, on the flip side, they get above 20, 22. That's a big area. That's the 30 low on the daily moving average. Then we've got all this work that we can come up into and still have a down mode in as far as the bigger picture, like a more downside later. But I think we could catch a little bit of a pop. But you can see the market's not crazy about running up because this is a small overnight range, and all we did was we opened up at the PLC, held the PLC from yesterday, did not take out the high. So nothing to write home about. We just caught a little bit of a bounce. Now, if they get some kind of a flurry and a little bit of volume below into the opening after the first 15 minutes, and we continue to get some volume, maybe we have 3 bars up off the opening. Then we'll see if we can get up to this 22. They get above 22, then, this level could be in play 60, 66. Now, on the downside, of course, they take out the overnight lows. That's a big area. That's the PLC from yesterday. So let's just say they get below 70, 78. And you can see the market peel to the downside. Now, my pivot is right around yesterday's tail area, where we had this big tail, right? But if I move this over, it's also the low of Europe. Europe opened, maintained to hold this level here, and that comes in right around 59.80. And the overnight I'm sorry, 58.90 is the pivot. The overnight lows for Europe came in right around that, or the early morning lows. So if they get back below the Europe low, then we can make a play and get a deeper push and get down to 78. So we'll see. We've got room to roam. We opened up the range yesterday, and the market, might try to do a little heel, a little reset after this huge move. Because if you look at it from this high, we traveled quite the ways, right? About a 250 point, 240 point plus range from the highs from last week to the lows from this week. So we got room to roam. All right. All right. Let's, we'll let the market kind of really give us a deeper um, picture of what it wants to do. All right. This crude oil did finally break this shelf. This was a big area. Uh, also actually right in this area. Let me just do this for a second. Okay. So I'm going to put this in here. This is really around where the 200-day moving average was. Oh, I'm sorry. No, hang on. Starting off on the wrong foot here. Let me do this again. Actually, the 200-day moving average was up here, and the market kept on like trying to, uh, as you can see, all these lows. We had the big $70 mark, then we kept on pushing down into it and rebounding, pushing down, rebounding, pushing down into a rebounding until finally we took this out with some vengeance and we got a nice break. Now I believe that this crude isn't really quite done with the downside, but this was a really fast break here. Happened in 30 minutes, and we got a big cave, these single prints, so we could get back above there. We get back above this, basically comes in right around 69 and a quarter. And you can see us try to fill in some single prints. So you could see a rebound in the crude. But once we do some work in this area, uh, I I believe the crude's still in trouble, and the crude can continue to break. And you can just see this is a really big coil, huge range of back and forth in the $3 range, and we took it all out. So getting back up here is going to be resistance, but we could come in and fill this cave, right? All right. Meanwhile, gold, came out of this sideways coil, similar to, when the SPUs kept on trading near the top. This was the all-time highs. We finally went up there and tested it during the U.S. session. And when we broke the bottom of the sideways coil, the market really peeled down to the downside and came into this inside pocket, which these two areas are going to be key, right? Going into today. Hang on a second. Going into today's trading. So we'll look at this 28.97, to this pretty much the overnight highs, which was came in right around this 29.43-ish area, right? So I think we could play in between there. Overall, this is just a correction in a bull trend for the gold. The gold had such a big rally and still looks pretty good as long as we kind of hold, maybe even down here. Uh, we get below there, there's still these lows, this kind of inside pocket. It comes in right around 28.87. So we'll see if they get down there, that would probably first time that area would be a buy, I would imagine. Okay. All right. Pivot is back up at 29.31. They get above back into this cave, and that would put us back into this price overlap, this balanced area. Then they could get a pop test the overnight highs and maybe get up to even the middle of that range, which is the high volume node at 29.52. Don't think we're going to do that. That's a big move if we do, but you know, the market will give us a heads up. This EC really had a nice bounce from, all the way back here when they gapped down, but it was a bit orderly, three up, little push down into the inside pocket, push down, but barely took out this last high. And we're doing some balancing and price overlap for the most part in this area. If they do happen to take out this 105.39 at any point, whether it's today or this week, I think the market still looks good. I think the EC is still going to kind of try to do, keep this momentum, and we shouldn't get back below this bottom, these these daily lows, and the inside pocket that comes in right around 104.64. So, but for the time being, we went in, tested the overnight lows. Now maybe push back up to the pivot, which is 105.16 to 17. All right. Bonds still look like they want to try to keep this momentum to the upside. We have a gap, a pretty sizable gap, and I don't know that we'll get down there, but I'm seeing a little slowdown in momentum. We tested the overnight highs and the U.S. session highs, just did a little poke above it, and I would expect the bonds to maybe come back down and test the overnight lows. Possibly, if they do get below the overnight lows, we make a play for this gap, but that's a pretty big. This gap is pretty big. I don't know that we're going to get all the way into it, but I think all we have is home sales at 10 o'clock. Possibly can move the market a little bit. Since that's been also a factor with the Fed. The housing prices, home sales, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, you never know. But for the most part, we should at least try to get down and move towards the overnight lows. You could see the slowdown in this momentum, and they might try to balance up here. So we'll keep our eyes on the bonds after the home sales report. All right. All right, let me do this. I'll bring up the ES, and you can see the ES is just kind of flirting with this pivot. And like I said, the market had a major sell signal for me, and I don't think we're out of the woods. Who knows? You can even come back and test down here. So today we could do either or. We take out the U.S. session highs, then we can get a lift. But right now we're testing the pivot, and we're also testing the Europe overnight lows. Okay. Also, we have for the crude today, I believe we have crude inventories at 10:30. So I'm not sure, that could rock a little bit only because the crude's at a pretty major area, below the $70 mark. But I wouldn't chase the crude. It's usually a reaction to the reaction afterwards that I like to play. So we'll let that come out, and we might fade the reaction on whichever way it goes. That's been the case probably for me 90% of the time. Okay. All right, let's get ready for the opening. We've got 15 minutes. If I see anything, I'll jump on and shout it out, and we'll go from there.